Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to week 3 of LALT121. This is week 3. We have already completed week 1 and 2, and which means we have completed major topic 1. Okay, so just before I continue, I'll just quickly run through some important announcement. According to the total number of registered students for this semester and for this course in particular, we have a total of 27 to 28 students. As teachers from SOE, we are monitoring your participation, and we are monitoring your attendance as we look through the Moodle. Therefore, to date, from the 27 registered people that we have, we only have around 11 active students, and that is you people that are out there and taking this course here. Making as with this number of 11 active students, it can only show, or it is showing that very little number, or less than half of you students that have seen content of this course and maybe have read the content of this course. Of course, implications will come about, meaning you may struggle doing your assessment task. And as a result, it may mean that you may, and the possible chances of getting the course can happen. Okay, so I am here just to remind you, and if you can help Mrs. Simo pass messages to people through your network, maybe as a friend on Facebook, or if you know of any other people's contact number, or people living close by, or a family relative that is also a student of this course, that they need to come on and start reading and participate on our Moodle discussions. So far, as I've said earlier, so far we have 27 people, but we only have 11 people who have introduced themselves. And to date, major topic 1 is a past now and has gone by. And we only have 6 people who have posted a discussion on discussion forum. Very, very little. Okay. Sooner or later, we will have a lot of people maybe communicating their challenges across. It is week 3, and if you can't access or are experiencing any difficulty of any sort on issues, please do communicate that across to VISOE and as well to me via our messenger on Moodle, so that I can be informed and aware of your issues. Otherwise, as I've mentioned earlier, if we have 6 people who have participated in the forum, that can also mean that only six people who have read major topic 1 notes. So I will emphasize again that it is important you participate on the forum, because then that confirms you have read. And not only that, it is also an assessment task. So if you are not participating, you are also losing marks for this course here. Okay, so that's a little bit an update of student attendance that we are monitoring from our end here. We can see who went for the last 7 days. We can see who did not come in at all for the last maybe 2 weeks since this course started. As we progress through, I will start emailing people on their personal email address, especially students, just to encourage and inform you that I haven't seen you online. Okay, so I will move on now as we are progressing through the course. Of course, we are expecting assessment task to come. Therefore, I will now dive into assessment details or assessment information for this course, since we have already got one forum discussion that is already out last week. So we have 3 assessment tasks for this course, as I mentioned earlier, in our last Zoom. We have 1 essay, and we have assessment task 1 is an essay, assessment task 2 is a research and presentation, assessment task 3 is reflective discussion. Therefore, the forum discussions are assessed within this reflective discussion, which is assessment task 3. Essay works 40% and will be due around week 6. And this is week 3, we've got 3 more weeks to go. And research and presentation will be due around week 13. It also weighs 40%. And reflection or discussion, forum discussion, and of course it's reflective discussion, it weighs 20%. Okay, this assessment task I have uploaded just mid this week. I think it was Wednesday that I have uploaded, and I've also sent message to all of you that I have uploaded your assessment task. Okay, so just a little bit more detail into those assessment tasks. Assessment task 1 requires you to have and must have read, maybe discussed, or done in-depth research into major topic 1 and major topic 2. Okay, this assessment task weighs 40%, as I've stated earlier, and it will be due in week 6, and it will have a word length of 2,000 words. If you have read the assessment detail, I will only briefly go through the assessment detail. This essay will have to assess the knowledge you have acquired in major topic 1 and major topic 2. However, the weight will be a lot more on major topic 2, and the major topic 2 title is oral language development and language acquisition. So I will expect you people to do a lot of more in-depth research into major topic 2. It says that it has 2 parts to it. So part A, you will have to discuss and reflect around language acquisition. I have given you 4 theories, namely Jean Piaget, Noam Chomsky, Skinner's theory, and Vygotsky's theory. Okay, these are some of our theories that have studied. I've done and I've given us studies on language acquisition that we need to further read into them to know more about. Okay, so your assessment guidelines for part A is for you to choose just one theory. You can generally research and look around the 4. However, for your assessment task, you are to choose one of the theorists and do an more in-depth reading into that particular theory to get more insight into what that theory I've said and stated and written off about language acquisition. These are very famous theories, in particular to cognitive development, and for us as educationists, these are the theories that are mostly our talks are centered around. So you will discuss how, so the other part, or in that essay, you are to discuss how language is acquired through that theory, that particular theory that you have chosen. Discuss how you, as a literacy teacher, and in this case, I want you to emphasize that through your discussion, I know that you may have also known these theories through education studies or your ETPS studies, but when you come to discuss it in this essay, it has to be a literacy context and literacy focus. So you are to discuss how you as a literacy teacher can implement the concepts from the theory that you have studied in order to develop or boost literacy, whether in vernacular or in an L2. And with that discussion, you are to show your evidence of understanding through examples. Okay, so that's part A of the essay. Part B of the essay, part B of the essay will also consist or made up of 1,000 words. Your paper should, part B looks at oral language and the essentials for literacy development. So your paper will discuss the following points. Discuss how you as a literacy teacher can implement an oral language and the essential components of literacy development to develop oral language, okay? And in particular, which this will go in line, very much in line with the ADEMAP slow approach that our curriculum has implemented. So state how these concepts will continue to develop literacy, and I can provide examples to support your discussion, okay? And this assessment task will be due in week 6. So week 6, we are now week 3. In 3 weeks' time, this assessment task should be due. Okay, for assessment task 2, is a research report and presentation. They will, you will also have 2 parts to this assessment task. Okay, so this task requires you to pick up one of the literacy strands that we will be, the macro strands, whether it's reading, writing, listening and speaking, viewing, for you to answer the questions that are centered around on this assessment paper. So you will need to state a literacy strand that you might have chose or you are looking at choosing. And you will provide a bit of background around that strand, whether it's reading or writing. Then you will need to state why it is important, why that literacy component or strand is important, and its implications to develop literacy. And again, we have to provide some examples around that to support our points. For this one, I know that we are teaching all levels out there, but for this one, I want us to concentrate particularly at class 1 to class 3, okay? And then we will discuss how this component can be used to develop literacy for these early or infant grades, class 1 to 3. For this one, after you've done the discussion, so it will be partly kind of an, a write-up at the top, and then we will have a lesson plan template that I have already attached to these assessment details that you will need to fill it up to show that you have planned that particular lesson of that strand that you have discussed earlier, and how you're going to teach it and all the resources that you may use to teach that lesson. The other part, of this assessment task 2 requires you to at least learn and study how to produce the 44 phonemes of the English, or the 44 sounds of the English language. And then after you've learned that, that's already uploaded in the Moodle. and you should have already seen some notes and practice those. And you will have to record yourself. When you record yourself, I'd like you to get this, to take this into account, that your camera, your camera or your mobile phone or the person taking your picture should at least capture your face so that I can see how you can produce this sound. So this is a straightforward one. You just need to learn the 44 phonemes or the 44 sounds of the English language. Record yourself. You're not going to teach it. You just go A, B, B. Just record that small video of the 44 phonemes and then submit it for marking. So that's assessment task 2. Assessment task 3. Assessment task 3 is reflective discussion. Okay, and you will have to participate every end of major topic in a forum discussion, which will be on Moodle. And then there will be a 2 written reflection that will be submitted in a Dropbox, one of them of which will be due next week, week 4. Okay, and the other one will be due week 14. For the written one that will be submitted in a Dropbox, different from the normal forum discussion, I have given you the details on the assessment detail paper that I have uploaded. So the one that will be due next week, brief on something that, the reflective discussion that will be due on next week. For next week's reflective discussion, which is part of assessment task 3, is where you are expected to demonstrate reflection and deep thinking of acquired knowledge and concepts on major topics. Oh yeah, that's the description. Sorry about that. That is the description of this assessment task. For the week 4, you will discuss your current knowledge on literacy teaching and learning, what you already know about literacy teaching and learning, the literacy teaching and learning and the learning strategies currently carried out in your more or less your everyday literacy teaching. What are you looking for? What are you looking forward to learn in this course? If you can state that. And I think I will just add on a little bit here. If you can also state maybe one of the challenges, 1 or 2 of the challenges you are currently facing while teaching literacy. Okay, I repeat myself, for next week's reflection writing that will be due on a Dropbox, or it has to come through a Dropbox. Your current knowledge on literacy teaching and learning, what you already know about literacy teaching and learning. The literacy teaching and learning strategies that you are currently using, that you feel they are of strength. Okay, your strength. And then what are you looking forward to learn in this course? And added to that, if you can discuss 1 or 2 challenges that you are facing to teach literacy, not to teach maths, not to teach health, but to teach literacy. Okay. The other reflective discussion that will be due in week 14 will be an overall reflection of the course. So describe what new knowledge you have acquired through the journey or learning journey of this course, how you can integrate this new knowledge and skills into your literacy teaching and learning. If you can provide examples to support your discussion. And also include in your writing some creative solutions that you may have acquired that you think you will use to solve the issue that you have stated in reflective discussion 1. Okay. So that's a little bit on our assessment task of this course. Attached also in the handout there, you will see our assessment marking criteria. Okay, let me just remind you and encourage you to use the assessment marking criteria so that it's sort of, and it will guide your writing, your thinking, your reading, and your researching. So, and at the bottom, as a result, to help you gain mark. Okay, if you are trying to write just from your head, ignoring the marking criteria, the high chances will be that you will lose mark. And I think we are all clear on this. Okay, so for now, if we are to go priority, if you haven't done any reading, people who are coming in later in this session, I have found, and I've brought with me here data, that so far we only have 6 people who have posted a forum or the discussion on the forum discussion. And if we have 6 people out of 27 people, please visit teachers. Besides your busy schedule of teaching, put aside some time for you to at least read. So if you haven't read Major Topic 1, I encourage you to read Major Topic 1, and in particular read Major Topic 2, and do a lot of extra research on Major Topic 2 to equip you with the knowledge for you to address assessment task 1, which is a major assessment task with a weight of 40% and will require a lot of extra reading. Okay, so that's just my first warning. If you did not participate in Major Topic 1, remember that the chances is you will lose mark, because all forum discussions will be marked, and this will be in line to participation and as participation in the forum. Oh, okay. On that note, let me also inform and remind all of us that after you do your post, you post your discussion, you are also required to comment on your other friends' post. If you did not comment, then you also lose marks. So you can add on ideas if you feel you need to add on ideas. It's very good. If you think it is wrong and you want to make some correction, it's all right. If you think you want to critique, it's okay. Remember that the forum discussion space is our classroom. Okay, Moodle is our classroom, and we know what real classrooms are like. People have to interact, people have to share ideas. Therefore, our forum discussion is where we share ideas and we use that space to learn from each other, because we are online. In a classroom scenario, we could do group work, we could share our ideas together, while on online, our forum discussion space is a place where we can exchange ideas and learn from each other. Okay, so that is all to do with assessment. I think I'll leave a bit of time. Please, if you have any questions on assessment, to turn on your mic and ask, and see if I will answer. If you have any questions at all on assessment task that I have gone through. You all okay with the assessment task? Any question? We have a hands up here. Someone just raised their hand. You want to just unmute yourself and talk, Linus? Yes, Linus? Three, two, one.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for the information. I've just come in later. I've got one question. For those of us whom we are not accessing the module yet,
Okay.
when are we going to access that? Or if you can raise our consent to the administration so that they can do that for us?
Yes, okay, Linus, thank you for that question. I will definitely inform Mr. Lawi. So if you are not accessing Moodle, how did you get this message of our Zoom session, and how are you getting in? Wouldn't that be Moodle?
No, from the page.
From the page. Okay. Good. Okay, yes, sure. I will let Mr. Lawi know, and that is very important. If you have issues not accessing, especially Moodle, that is our classroom. So if there are any other people in the group that has difficulty, please do call Leila at the front desk and raise your concern. And of course, if they can let us know, such as myself and other people, would be very good. Okay, is that all right with you, Linus? I will definitely let Mr. Lawi know, and as well as our DB Academy.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Diane, unmute yourself and share your question with all of us.
Thank you, Mrs. Simo. I'm just wanting to ask about everything that you mentioned now. Is it all in the assessment details?
Yes. I can't hear you. Sorry, come again.
All the things that you mentioned now about
Yes.
our assessment 1, assessment 2, and assessment 3. Can we all see that in the assessment details, or?
Okay, yes, Diane, thank you for that question. The assessment detail, if you are seeing myself, I'm on screen, this paper, this assessment detail paper was uploaded Tuesday or Wednesday this week. I have finalized it and I have uploaded it. It's now on Moodle. It will be found, you will find it at the end of where the tab shows week 3 to week 4. At the end of week 3 to week 4 work, reading and all, you will find Mrs. Simo's assessment detail, and the title reads Assessment LALT121 Assessment Details for Assessment 1, Assessment 2, and Assessment 3. And you will read through the, Okay, Diane, yes?
Thank you, Mrs. Simo. I'm running out of battery and time's up for my afternoon class. Thank you very much.
Okay, all is good. Go on Moodle and you should see all these assessment details. Thank you. Any more question on assessment? Okay, we have Daniel. Yes, Mr. Daniel. How are you and what is your question? If you can unmute your mic.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the presentation. Me too, I'm on the same case as the others who still not received the Moodle. Can you confirm to us that is it possible to receive the courses this week? Because I came in last week to the admin and they said probably yesterday and nothing has been done. It's dragging us on and due dates are coming up. So can you please confirm? Because I've been to the admin and asked them, and they said yesterday. But until now, nothing has been done.
You haven't seen anything.
That's
Okay,
too
thank
bad.
you, Daniel. Yes. Thank you, Daniel. I am sorry about that. I think, as I've said, we have progressed on, but I will see people concerned and raise that concern of yours, particularly due to the access that you have mentioned. Yes, I will do that. Okay. Any more question from anyone? Okay, if there are no more questions, I will just quickly go through. Remember that we will only have, remember and take note that we will only have Zoom classes on paydays. That is because I think it is proper for Fridays paydays where you will have a bit of money paid for your data and to attend class online. And also for people in remote places, maybe when they get to the centers to access bank, particularly people in the islands, when they, maybe I think as teachers, we come out from our remote space and access services such as bank, then we can also connect to the network and then can come to our Zoom classes. Okay, so I'll just briefly go through major topic 2. The next time I will be here is when I will go, just briefly again, I will go through major topic 3. Remember that our Zoom classes only last for 1 hour, so as much as possible, please bring your issues, bring your questions to the Zoom space so you can be heard. And if we do have answers to, we will answer you. And most importantly, to read. And if you're unsure of the major topic, if you're unsure of assessment task, when you come for Zoom, share with us your concerns and maybe your confusions. But as well, don't forget to message me via our Moodle platform. So for major topic 2, we have oral language development or oral language, as well as language acquisition, and inside that we look generally briefly, we looked at L1 acquisition, which is our vernacular and our mother tongue or dialect acquisition, how we acquire that language, and as well second language acquisition, meaning the language you choose to be your education language, and also essential components for literacy development. So those are some of the big talks around in assessment task 2. Major topic, subtopic A, importance of oral language. As teachers, we know this very well. We know that when students come into class, they are not strong. Therefore, one of the major things that we do to develop oral language is we ensure that we provide opportunities where students and ourselves can practice oral language. It is also important to learn in this course that until we have a very strong oral language foundation or development, then we are building up a success towards the later and complex strands, which are writing and reading and writing. Because of its importance, it is, again, I'll stress, it is vital that teachers, it is important that we provide opportunities for our students to develop oral language. And as teachers, we know a lot of activities that we are currently doing that encourages language. If we are some of the teachers, if we are teachers who get into the classroom, pick up textbooks and allow students or make students read and write straight away, then we may need to readjust our teaching and ensure that our oral language activities are brought back in, because it is very important. And then we have, still under that, we have oral language. I'm sorry, still under that, we have the language acquisition, okay, which is a subtopic, subtopic B, first and second language acquisition. So first language acquisition is the language that we inherit, we are born with, we cannot decide on, because we are born with, we don't have the power or the choice to choose our L1. Okay, that makes it different from L2. For L2, you can decide, you make the choice, or students makes the choice of which language will be the second language. And they are not, of course, they are not the same, they are different. They are quite slightly different from each other. Therefore, we need to read our notes so that we can really understand how we acquire our L1 and how we acquire our L2. And as teachers, we need to know how we can help students when they come to acquire L2. And for that, we have a handout that is already uploaded. And this is the one that will be and has been planned for you to work and work around for your assessment task 2. Assessment task 1, correct me. Yes, so assessment task 1 is when you are to discuss the acquisition of L1, the acquisition of oral language, the acquisition of L1, and how you can use the concepts in the acquisition of L1 and L2 to develop literacy for us in Vanuatu. The characteristics are different, and definitely they are not big difference, they are slightly different. For example, for first language acquisition, we have around 5 stages. Yes, we have 5 stages. So we have the pre-talking stage, or the growing, and the laughing, around 2 to 4 months, and that's from birth. Then the second one, we have the babbling. And then the third stage, we have the one word stage. And then we move on to the 4th stage, which is the 2-word stage, and the 5th stage, which is symbol sentences. Okay, so to read through those ones and to know more about first language acquisition. And then for second language acquisition, we also have around 6 stages: pre-production, early production, emergent, speech emergent, beginning fluency, intermediate fluency, and advanced fluency. So these are the stages where we acquire second language. Okay. We also have subtopic C. Subtopic C is essential components for literacy development. Particularly, we're focusing on LEH or LES of primary school. And we have phonological awareness, which is one of the components. We have, and its importance and how we can go about doing that. We have phonemic awareness, and we have phonics. So those are some of the essential components that I have uploaded. I will also upload high frequency and vocabulary, which is also part of essential components of early literacy, or literacy in the early years. So as time is sort of moving, if you have read, and this is the way we will go, we will sort of address these Zoom sessions. As I've said earlier, we only have 1 hour time slot for Zooms. Therefore, please do read your handouts and bring your questions about the handouts to our Zoom session so that we can help you understand the handouts more. Okay. The 4 theories that I have mentioned earlier for assessment task 1 essay, Jean-Pierre, Chomsky, and Skinner, and the other one, Skinner and Vygotsky. Those the 4 theories here, you will see them popping up in language acquisition, first language acquisition, and second language acquisition. There is the big struggle out there where we find that students, because we have the ADEMAP language approach that we have when we are currently implementing now. We have a lot of challenge with people trying to speak English and people trying to read and write English. Because as we can see on social media, a lot of complaints around the Bislama, and that it causes a lot of the challenges. So I have mentioned earlier that if you read through the first language acquisition and second language acquisition, see if you can identify some of those stages where we can bring into the classroom so that we can help our students acquire L2. For example, we have the early production where we have students who start to speak. And we also have the pre-production where it is a silent period. Okay. If you look at pre-production stage in an L2 acquisition versus a stage 1 of L1 acquisition, they're just sort of similar. For example, before a baby starts, the cooing sound or the bubbling sound, they listen a lot. So you expect a silent period with babies. Before they start to make sounds, or before they start to make their small speeches, they've spent a large amount of time to listen to the adult. And when we look with the research notes that you have, when we look at the acquisition of L2, we also see that students will also experience the pre-production, which is the silent period, where before they speak that English or before they speak that L2, you will also observe, and as experienced teachers, we can see that a lot of our students experience the silent period. So you can see that they sort of, they're just parallel. Before babies talk, they spend a great deal of time listening to their parents, to their family members. Similarly, when we had to acquire another language, a silent period is normal. It's not that they don't want to speak. They need to see the professionals speak that language. They need to get help. So you can see that in both levels. Okay, I understand that we've heard that a lot of people are speaking Bislama, but when it comes to English, they don't speak English, or even in French, they struggle speaking French. Understand that there is the silent period for both. And then we have stage 2, where they start to talk, but they will need quite a lot of things to come into play before they talk, and they're just saying one word. They're just making sounds of the language, okay? And then it moves on to, after that, they can say a few words, okay? And if you look at your note, you will see that if we are to help people who are struggling to speak English, or people who are struggling to speak a language, then we allow, let's allow for some of the stages on the handout that we put into practice in our classroom settings. Okay, so I'm just briefly going through this one here. I expect you to read more. If you read about the theories, you will come to see how these theories sort of encourage language acquisition. And all in all, you will later discover, all in all, it's a social, it is through social interaction that either it's an L1 or an L2 that people will acquire that language. And just to add on that before we get to speak fluently, one of the major things that we need to consider is the phonological awareness of that language, whether it's vernacular, whether it's an L2, whether it's L3. The students need to at least come to learn or come to know about the sounds of the language in order for them to be understood when they're talking, and in order for them to express themselves more clearly. Okay. Therefore, you will have seen that Mrs. Simo has uploaded a video on the 44 phonemes, as well a chart, A3 chart that if you look at it very closely, it gives you directives or it gives you guidelines as to how to produce that sound. How you have to probably lower your mouth, where the position of your tongue should be, and it leads on to you producing the sound. Okay. We have around 24 or 22 letters of the Bislama sound, Bislama letters and the sounds. It is important for us to acquire that, as well as the English ones, which is 44. So go through the video, follow the instruction well, because when I get to assess your videos of yourself doing the sound, I want to see especially your face and your mouth clearly when you're producing the sound. Okay, so that is just really a wash or a brief overview of major topic 2. I'll see you all again in 2 weeks' time, next payday, and I will just briefly go through again major topic 3. Okay, so we do not really have the time, but you have lots of time to read your notes and come to the Zoom with questions. Okay, this Zoom is recorded, so please, if people want to, if you can help Mrs. Simo spread the news that people can download or listen to the Zoom so that they can get important information, particularly to do with assessment, and as well briefly an overview of the major topic. Therefore, you will see that you still need to do the reading if you are to understand the major topics more in depth, and as well to give you enough knowledge to demonstrate it while you're doing your assignment or through your assignment that will be assessed here. Otherwise, I will stop here, my friends, but I will also give you maybe 5 minutes if you have any questions. If you have any questions on major topic 2. Raise your hand if you have any questions. You all okay? Assessment starts next week, Sunday midnight. Reflective discussion 1. I will provide a Dropbox. Okay, and I will give it a title, and you will submit reflection 1 next week, Sunday midnight. Week 6, essay submission. And then we keep rolling on the forum discussions. Okay. I bear with people who did not access Moodle yet. I will go out now and see Mr. Lawi to confirm if you have access or not access. But I think for registration wise, people have already registered. Yes, I think everyone's been registered except the access. I don't know why. Okay, I have someone coming in for this session now, but please ask me any question, or otherwise you can message it to Mrs. Simo, or if you see Mrs. Simo somewhere on the street for the Bila people, Efate people to ask me question, I'd be very happy to help. Okay. For now, you have a blessed weekend. Go home, spend your weekend, post on the forum. Yes, Mr. Thompson. Speak.
Thank you. I have a question to ask
Okay.
regarding the forum discussion. Forum discussion one. Are we still allowed to submit our forum, or are we already late?
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. The forum discussions, actually, I will not close any forum discussion, but I will close forum discussions around end of week 14. So you are not late. You are not late. The forum discussions will be left open until week 14. But bear in mind that you won't be given any mark if you did not participate at all. And one important thing is that you must respond to your other friend. So far, we only have one student who had responded to someone else. Otherwise, everybody else posted. The 5 other people, they posted. They did not comment on their friend's discussion. Okay, Thompson, you okay? The forum discussion will be open. Major topic 1 forum discussion will be open. Major topic 2 forum discussion will be open. All the forum discussions will be open beginning last week to week 14. Then I'll close.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. However, thank you. However, your Dropbox for reflective discussion 1 will close. I will inform you when I will close it, but it will be open next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, up till week 5. Around week 5, I will close the Dropbox. Straight.
Yeah, straight. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you. Ale, you may start finish now.